think the greatest strength of the original lesson was that it was designed to be within the student ZPD, or the zone of proximal development. And within the zone of proximal development in the original lesson, I was able to use MKO assistants, more knowledgeable other assistants, and I was able to use that. And as the students began to understand more and more of what they were supposed to be doing, I was able to tone down that assistance until they were able to internalize and be able to do it on their own. I was also able to use modeling by having one of the students who had stronger English skills go first. The biggest problem with the original lesson was that it lacked structure and rules and scaffolding, and the students weren't completely aware of what exactly they were supposed to do until we were actually in the lesson and I was trying to get them to do it. So the learning theories that were applied in the second video, in the recreation, one of the big things that I did for the recreation was that I narrowed down the learning objectives from from 2 objectives to 1 objective. In the original plan, there were 2 learning objectives, being students will be able to make sentences in the future tense and students will be able to make sentences in the past tense. And I cut out the future tense objective so that they were just making sentences in the past tense. So that allowed to save some time and to focus more on the past tense. One of the things that's noticeable right away is the rules were laid out before the students actually started the activity, and there was also more scaffolding that included some writing on the board. The sociocultural application that was going on in this lesson was since this is an ESL lesson, we were relating the use of tenses to their own language. So I had to point them out that when they are speaking English, they need to be thinking about when did something happen, since in Thai there are no tenses. So if you may not have seen this in the second video, but students sometimes tend to just want to use the present simple tense all the time and don't always know the proper tenses. Another thing that we changed in the recreation video was there was more positive feedback, and this also allowed for some vicarious positive reinforcement as well. So when one student sees another student struggling, and when I give that student some positive feedback for their hard work during the time that they're struggling, and then once they are able to accomplish the objective, other students will be more willing to participate. I think the biggest problem with the recreation was that while the students in the original video, it was within their ZPD, the students in the second video were a lot more advanced because I was having trouble finding some students for the second video, and I had to take some students out of a GED course, and their English was, mostly because they're older, their English was a lot better than the younger students that I had in the original video. And also the video was rushed because I was taking them out of another class. So those are the less controllable variables. The one controllable variable that I think I would change if I had to do this again would be for the written scaffolding that was on the board. I think I would have wanted to do that before the class as well. When I was explaining all of the rules, I could have given the structure out right away so that some students would have spent less time struggling with it because they may or may not have fully understood exactly what I was asking of them.